Hello everyone, my name is Peter and this is the Esoteric Order of Gamers, and today something a little bit different. I just thought I'd do a little handheld video of my studio space, the Esoteric Order of Gamers studio space. Now, I've just had this room sort of cleaned quite thoroughly. It was time for a bit of a spring clean. As you can see, it's looking beautiful and clean, and there's all this empty space here. Now, usually, of course, I've got the wide-angle lens here to get it all in, so it looks a lot bigger than it is, though it is a pretty decently sized space. Usually there I have my table and all my lights set up and everything for filming, and they take up a lot of space. But it's nice and clean and spacious today, so I thought I'd just show you the space that I not only work in, but also where all my games live and how they're stored on the shelves, and maybe just talk a little bit about games in general. So I've done videos before on my studio space and going through the games. You can look through them if you want to, but this is how things are set up at the moment. What I've used are these shelving units, and these shelving units are usually 3x4, so 3 across and 4 up. And then what I've done is taken the same unit and cut it in half and added that to the top, and they're bolted together. They're not bolted to the wall, unfortunately, so this is where I work. If there's a big earthquake and they fall on top of me, I'll probably die, but I don't know. Me being buried under a pile of games seems strangely appropriate way to go, doesn't it? Here's the other wall, and you can see that's pretty much filled floor to ceiling with games. When we come down here, I've just got a 3x3 unit there, and here's where I store all my sort of gubbins. We've got dice here in little drawers, and also various counters and things as well that I use for tabletop games as well, for tabletop miniatures games. And down here we have not only some games, but also role-playing game stuff. So here we've got an original D&D set. We've got the old AD&D, Advanced D&D manuals and all the modules. There's an old basic set, the old Holmes basic set. And Gamma World, other TSR role-playing games. Some old Empire of the Petal Throne, Tekkamil stuff. And some old Games Workshop games here as well. All the rest of the Games Workshop stuff is over here. And these are some of the older games. As you can see, some absolute classics there in the early Games Workshop releases. And then some newer games. I haven't got anything from Games Workshop for a long time. I don't know what they're doing, but they're not really sending me products, so that's why I haven't had much Games Workshop on the channel for a while now. Over here, lots more games. Again, some more Games Workshop old games. There's some stuff from Tabula Games, Mantic Games. They make great tabletop miniatures games. Some fantasy stuff, The Witcher down there. And this is my workspace. You might know I do graphic design for board games. This is where I work. If you're into tech stuff, I've got a little Mac M1 Mini there, and it powers these two screens, and I've got a printer and a scanner over there. I'm just selling a couple of games. Occasionally I sell games just to make a bit of space. This one is Fate of the Fellowship, Lord of the Rings, Fate of the Fellowship. Talking about Lord of the Rings, I would much rather play War of the Ring. Here it is, the wooden collector's edition, the original collector's edition. And up here we've got all the expansions as well, Kings of Middle-earth. There's also Battle of Five Armies there as well. So that's my Lord of the Rings collection, which I'm very proud of. That's some paperwork that shouldn't be there. We've got some stuff from Restoration Games here, Return to Dark Tower, Stalker, a good game from Awaken that's come out, and some extra stuff there as well. And here is the current collection of War Cradle stuff. This is Dystopian Wars and Armoured Clash. As you can see, they send me a lot of regular product. This is years and years worth of stuff, of course. But it's quite a lot to store, certainly a lot to paint. I've painted quite a bit, but obviously there's a lot here that's unpainted. But they're both great games, and I can't bring myself to part with any of this because I do play the game and really enjoy it. This stuff here is all Armoured Clash. Most of this is Dystopian Wars. So that's piled up there, and luckily they're not very heavy boxes, so they seem to be happy just piled up there in the corner. I'll just bring you into my little ensuite bathroom, but the interesting part over here is my collection of terrain, which I use for tabletop miniatures games. I've shoved a few extra things in here because I was getting the cleaning done. but that's mostly terrain in plastic bins. Over here, some interesting games. They're the old Fantasy Flight game coffin boxes. Those huge boxes, so they're sitting up there on the top there. There's a whole lot of Assassin's Creed, Brotherhood of Venice. That takes up quite a bit of space. I've got to paint those 2 towers eventually. Some other cool games like Hellboy, some good stuff from Garfield games. Let me see, Monolith games. We've got Batman there. Mythic games. Oh dear, Mythic games. Anyway, Joan of Arc. Lots of Joan of Arc. One day I'll paint all that. And some Awaken game stuff. There's some Tainted Grail. There's some more Tainted Grail over the other side of the room. All kinds of cool things there. We've got Mythic Battles Pantheon. Heaps of Nemesis. Look at that big pile of Nemesis all just piled up on top of each other. I really have to come up with a better storage system for this little corner of the room. We've also got more stuff from them. Great Wall, Tamashii. And then from Simon, we've got Dune, War for Arrakis. Great game. Wow, and there is a picture hiding behind there. Over this side of the room, another big pile of huge games, and these are all, tend to be Kickstarter games which have lots of boxes, as you can see. There's Kings of Ruin, Tainted Grail, Kings of Ruin, ISS Vanguard, Solomon Kane, which I've recently started playing again solo, and it's a funny little game, but kind of interesting and fun to play solo. So I'm still painting it actually. And Apex Legends, the board game, which I really want to play some more of. Very cool combat game. And Oathsworn lurking under there. That's an excellent adventure game. I've really got to play some more of it. We still haven't finished the campaign. And look at this wall. I do love this wall. It's a nice place to sit during the day because, I just get to be surrounded by games all the time. I'm not going to go through all of these. Of course, we'll be here forever. But, I'm kind of proud of this collection. When I'm looking for things to sell, which happens very occasionally, I really just look at this wall and I can't find anything I really want to part with. I'm very happy with this collection of games. Some of them don't get played for years, but then eventually they'll come out again and we'll enjoy them again. So there's no real duds, I don't think. There's a whole lot of Days of Wonder stuff here, early Days of Wonder stuff, and lots of Fantasy Flight Games stuff from back in the days when they made good stuff. Yeah, I'm really happy with this collection of stuff. And as you can see, and as I always go on about, they're very thematic games. I do love my thematic games. You won't really find too many dry Euros in here, I've got to say. Here's outside. There's a little courtyard out here, which is quite nice. Little kind of private area. We've just had the house painted, actually. So this used to be all a sort of horrible yellow mustard colour, but we've painted it this nice neutral stone colour, and we made the wood black too, or sort of charcoal colour, so the house is looking pretty good. And here's my electronic drum kit, my Roland kit. I have a little bash on this every day. I've been playing the drums since I was about 15 years old. Yeah, 15. So that's a long, long time. That's, what's that? Yeah, that's about 45 years I've been playing the drums. I played the drums in bands and I recorded some CDs and did some things like that. Never hit the big time, but had a lot of fun with it and played a lot of live gigs. And I'm not a great drummer by any means. I never got lessons and learned my rudiments very well, my basic drumming patterns or anything like that, but I can certainly hold down a groove. So it's nice to have that there, and it has a really good sound actually through the headphones, that kit, and it's very responsive as well. The pads are very, very nice and responsive and have multiple sort of areas that give you a response just like a real kit. Very nice kit. Over here, I've got some miniature storage. Now, storing miniatures is always difficult. This big rack is for large miniatures, so things that won't fit anywhere else. Sometimes they're just sitting in the tray like that. Other times I put some metal on the bottom and they're magnetized, so they're sitting quite solidly on that strip of metal. We've got a lot of Games Workshop stuff in here, some unpainted figures. It must be painted one day. This is all Wrath of Kings, a game I haven't played for a long, long time. These are big Conquest figures. Conquest, the Last Argument of Kings. That's just a whole lot of stuff. And then over here we have this lovely old plan drawer, which I picked up many, many years ago from a sale at a design studio. And what I've done is lined these drawers with thin stainless steel sheets. And then all these miniatures have little rare earth magnets on the bottom of them. So if I just carefully lift one up, you can see there's a little magnet on the bottom, and that keeps them sitting nicely on the sheet. And this is how I store a lot of my miniatures. I store them in the box if I can, if there's room in the box, but otherwise they get stored in these drawers. And as you can see, there's quite a lot. Some still unpainted. This is all Wrath of Kings. So I painted a lot of Wrath of Kings, and in fact I recently did this Techno's Army. I painted that one up, so I'm still working on Wrath of Kings, even though I don't play it very often. Here we've got all Games Workshop stuff. And in fact, it's fun to go back to some of these and actually paint them. These ones here, these are deep ones by Grenadier models, made back in the 80s. And I recently finally painted these. They were unpainted for all that time. I bought them back in the 80s, and I finally painted them. So they've taken their place in this drawer of painted miniatures. These are some other Games Workshop ones from Warhammer type games. What else do we have? Oh, more Games Workshop. Look, there's some original Space Marines here. This is from the original plastic Space Marine set, which came out in the 80s. I painted them way back then. And then, you know, much more recent stuff like, you know, Dwarves or Leagues of Votan, as they call them. Oh, there's not much going on in that drawer. That's pretty boring. This is Mantic game stuff. This is for Firefight and Dead Zone. And then we start getting, oh, there's some Armoured Clash vehicles. And then we start getting into the AT-43, and that takes up quite a bit of space. I have a huge AT-43 collection. I absolutely love the game, though, again, haven't played it for ages. I really must play it more often. We've got more AT-43. Look at all that. And I do have boxes stored somewhere else, which have all the vehicles in them as well. Ugh. And then down here, talking about Rackham games, this is all Confrontation, the last version of Confrontation. And over here we've got Man of War figures, Games Workshop Man of War. It's all ships from Man of War. And the last drawer is more Confrontation. Wow, another game I should play more often. Well, there you go, folks. A quick look at the Esoteric Order of Gamers studio. It's a room, really. I just like to call it a studio because it sounds fancy. This is where I spend a lot of my time, all day, every day, working at that desk, surrounded by games. It's my happy place. I hope you've enjoyed this look at it. I will see you in the next video. Thanks very much for watching. Like and subscribe, do all that stuff. You know the drill. Bye for now. Good gaming.